Hi everyone, welcome to Celestine Expressive Healing Arts. I'm Cecilia Inez. This is a very different setup because I am traveling right now and I'm doing what I gotta do, going with the flow. That has been one of the messages coming through. Just go with the flow. And also what I've been guided to do, which I thought it was about goddamn time to do, was get the original Rider-Waite tarot deck. Look at that. I referenced it so much with all these other alternative decks that I use. I was like, let's go back to basics, right? So this is for the new moon in Gemini that's happening, I believe it's happening on the 14th. June 14th, which is going down on Sunday. Let's see what we get. I don't usually shuffle on air, but I thought also, again, let's switch it up a bit, keep things a little interesting. Let's see. This card keeps coming up, the Queen of Pentacles. Holy crap. I was doing a separate reading. I was out and about, wandering in the streets of New York, and she came out, Queen of Pentacles. Then again, earlier when I was just like doing a practice run, she came out. And now she came out again. So this is a pretty, I would say this is the central theme for this new moon in Gemini. Let's see what else we get. King of Cups. Interesting. I'm going to put King of Cups here on the right side. I think something that's coming, something more. Oh, two cards flipped over. I'm going to say these are the last two cards we're going to. Whoa. The Empress. Something's going on here. But look what we got. We got the Empress and we got, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of Swords. I think this is more the recent past. And or it could be still lingering and tied into the current moment, the present moment. But then we have the King of Cups and the Empress, which I feel there's some sort of connection there for sure. But we have all these these big court cards, and this major arcana card. So I'm going to pull some clarification cards. I'll be right back. All right, so I got that new deck, the original Rider-Waite deck, today as I was walking around in New York. And the deck that I bought with me was the Osho Zen deck that I really love. The cards are all so worn out and bent. If you can see, look how bent they are. But so let's, intensity. We've got intensity before, I think. I'm going to put it down for now. Let's see, another. So I'm going to pull 4 cards. Comparison, interest. So comparison. 2 different types of tree, right? You can't compare bamboo to an oak tree. They're both as beautiful and magnificent and wondrous as, the other. Let's see, what else? Silence. This goes with that receptivity card we got for the tarot in nature, right? Stillness. Last card, last clarification card. The Rebel, yes. That might go with the Empress, I think. Or the King of Cups. Silence. Maybe I think this is how it goes. I'll be back. I'm going to show you the layout of the card so you can see all the images, all the symbols. All right, so this is the layout. This is the spread. We started with the Rider-Waite deck, and we got the 7 of Swords. I made a mistake with this. I apologize. This is actually the 7 of Swords. And I paired that with, so I pulled also some clarification cards, and I paired that with the Five of Swords, which is comparison in this deck. We're going to break it down in a minute. And then this is the Queen of Pentacles, which I paired with the Silence card. And this is the Star card in Tarot. Then we got the Empress. And I paired that with the Rebel card, which is actually the Emperor in Tarot. And so this is this is the counterpart of the Empress. And then we have the King of Cups, which I paired with this Intensity card. And this is the Knight of Wands. So we got a lot of court cards. We have the Queen, Knight, King. We got some major arcana cards here. 1, 2, 3. And then we got a lot of air element, this mental energy going on here. But it's balanced with this King of Cups, which is about emotions. All right. So let's get into it. Look, check out my t-shirt. No one is illegal on stolen land. We walk on native land, and that's the truth. Remember that. So, I was meditating, I was reflecting. I like writing. For me, it helps me process my thoughts, these ideas that I get. So let's begin with the Seven of Swords and the comparison card. So, I forgot that we got politics is the Seven of Swords, and we got that in my previous reading. We got a lot of the same messages, honestly, from that reading. So I'm going to link it below. I feel like this is just extending into this new moon. But it's about betrayal, deception, or trying to get away with something, and acting strategically, having to act strategically. And it's also could be feelings of imposter syndrome. And that's why we feel like we have to strategize and have the upper hand, right? Because we're talking about comparison as well. This is the Five of Swords. It could be around self-deception, which again came up in that last reading. I was saying maybe we're deceiving ourselves and not being honest with ourselves. It's also about keeping secrets, not maybe someone keeping secrets from you, and then that somehow gets exposed, or you keeping secrets from someone. So there could be this opportunity for that to kind of unravel. Then with the Five of Swords, this comparison card, it creates, when we compare ourselves, it creates this hierarchy of inferiority and superiority, right? Someone always has to be better than the other person. So it already naturally creates this hierarchy, right? Someone's above, someone's below, someone's smarter, someone's less knowledgeable or skilled or whatever. So when we stop that projection, all that disappears. It doesn't exist. Then you can just simply be, right? You can just simply be. You can just be yourself without having to feel like you have to be like someone else, or have the things that other people have, or think in the same way that other people do, and have the same beliefs and all that. I think that causes more of this deceptive kind of energy. Because then it becomes like, for survival of the fittest, right? Dog eat dog world, whatever that saying is. And it's like, that's the kind of culture that we live in, right? Trying to get ahead of the game and climb the ladder of success and like fuck everybody else kind of energy, very individualistic. So you want to be careful. I feel like this is like a forewarning. This is more to do maybe with old past mindsets and ways of being that we're trying to let go of. But again, maybe this is just guidance to be careful of this kind of energy right now. Because we have the Gemini is the twins. So there is this like energy of contrast or dualistic energy that's present. So when you let that go, right, it all disappears and you can just simply be yourself. No pretense, no performance, no pressure, no pretending. The grass may look greener on the other side, but don't be fooled. Most of the time, it isn't. It might look like that, especially with social media. Especially with social media. Now we have AI and all this fucking, you can't distinguish what is real. You know, it's like we're losing the sacredness of truth, of what is true and what is like real and what is sacred, and I don't know. So don't be fooled, but also who gives a shit, right? Who gives a shit if the grass is greener on the other side? I say tend to your own grass. Tend to your own garden. Comparing will keep you stuck because it takes away your attention, right? It takes away your focus off the things that actually matter. You know, you could take that and you could take your energy back and redirect it into your own life, right? Refocus yourself and put all that energy into your own life on feeling better, feeling more, you know, healthier, feeling more peaceful and grounded, which we're going to get into, because then we got the silence card, which is all about cultivating inner peace. And then we got the Queen of Pentacles, which is also a very nurturing card, you know. So we're moving away from that, right? Judging ourselves against others, judging others, comparing ourselves to others, competing, imposter syndrome, which can just create all this inner turmoil and imbalance. And so it's like, let's silence all that, right? Silence your mind, find your inner peace, your inner center. Look how much you have. This is also about abundance. It's like, look all around you, what you have in your own life. Be grateful for what you have. Sometimes we take things for granted. Let's see what else I want to say before I move on. So yeah, just so let's move into this new energy of silence. Silence is the star in traditional tarot. So again, it's inner peace. It's about like the sense of security, but not only physical and material security. It's this internal feeling of safety and security too. Queen of Pentacles is a very nurturing energy. It's about taking care of like day-to-day things. Like it's a very domestic vibe. You know, it's all about home and family and work and like, again, these practical things. But it's not only about taking care of others. So when we're talking about the home and family and all that, it's also about, you know, taking care of ourselves and being self-sufficient. So not overly dependent on anyone, or not allowing others to be overly dependent on us. Like, right, again, we're talking about balance. And as I was saying, this really connects to the tarot nature reading I did, where the yin and yang symbol kept coming up, which I'm going to get into now. And even with this, you have the Emperor and the Empress. This is like the ultimate counterpart, symbolizing this balance of masculine and feminine energy. So it's about balance. So yes, it's about self, you know, interdependence. It's about interdependence, right? Not swinging to one extreme or the other. So self-sufficiency, developing your own autonomy, your sovereignty. It could be about work and life balance. So maybe you've been working too much, you know, so, or maybe you've been working too little. So yeah, it's about that. If anything's out of balance, maybe this is what this card is saying. It's like, it's time to find stillness, to take a pause, to take a break and recalibrate. And if we read this as the Star card from the Rider-Waite deck, it's all about renewal too. So it goes with this Queen of Pentacles. It's all about this beautiful renewed energy. It makes me think of like where we are now, seasons, right? We're in the middle, at the end tail of spring, right? Everything started blooming and blossoming, and now we have longer days and summer. You could start feeling summer. I'm in New York, and so like, you know, it's been warm. It's been really warm and hot. Today was freaking beautiful, perfect weather. And so it's like that energy of like just lushness and like this earthy like energy of summer, the summery, like, you know, rolling around in the grass in the park, having a picnic or something. Like, she's chilling, right? Look at her. She's in her lush. This is, there's no worry in the world, right? There's this inner peace. Everything's gonna be okay. And she's tending to her garden, and she's probably taking care of all that, and that's why it's beautiful, and it's growing, and it's like giving fruit, right? Because she has the pentacles in her hand, right? So something's flourishing, something's, but it comes with, again, which balances out this like intensity card and the rebel card as well, where it's like you can take inspired action. Well, I'll get to, but you don't have to be like so impulsive or impatient about it, right? What else do I want to say about this? So yes, the Star card is all about renewal, keeping the faith. It could mean disconnection, so be careful of that. Maybe you're feeling disconnected, because here she's very connected to everything around her. There's this like deep connection, and maybe that's also what creates this sense of security and faith and hope, which is the Star card. And it could also, these are the shadow aspects, right? It could also be like feeling despair. So when you don't have hope, when you don't connect to that star energy, you don't have faith, then it feels like, you know, nothing is going to change, right? Things can't change. And so it's about that. Be careful of these shadow aspects, right? Look out for that. If you start kind of feeling that, and try to see how you could shift that energy. Maybe that's happening because you're comparing, right? And you're in this kind of energy. And so then you have to kind of find your way back, right? And recalibrate, regroup when you gain your awareness again. So now let's move to the Rebel card. And so this is the ultimate like power couple. This is like the pair. So I mean, this could actually represent something in your life, some relationship in your life. Maybe you're the one that's in the power couple. Or maybe it's someone that's going to enter your life. But definitely power couple energy. There's this equal balance of both masculine and feminine. This could also represent the cosmic mother and father. We have a lot of feminine energy because kind of similar vibe. I mean, they're different, but also similar. You know what I'm saying? So now I want to get into the yin and yang. So yin, which is what the Empress is, represents femininity and beauty and nature and creativity. The shadow aspect can be like feeling creatively blocked, having some sort of block or energetic block, or like, again, we were talking about feeling stuck, right? That these two cards, these kinds of strategic, manipulative, comparing, deceitful energy just keeps you stuck. And so, again, be aware of the shadow aspects of that. But then, no, yin energy in its balanced, beautiful, healthy representation is creativity, it's intuition, it's this nurturing energy similar to the Queen of Pentacles, nurturing oneself, nurturing others. Again, there's this great balance of the two, not over giving, not taking too much, right? Only thinking about yourself. So again, this interdependence, not codependence, or not hyper independence, but like this great balance between the two of giving and receiving. The yang energy which is the rebel, the emperor, is all about logic and setting boundaries, right? You're able to set boundaries. It's about having discipline. There's this desire to build that. I have to change this song, sorry. I usually love jazz, but this is some abstract avant-garde thing that I just am not in the mood for right now. But anyway, we're in the Emperor card, right? So we're talking about discipline, desire to build something, right? Something important, something stable, a stable foundation. So there's this beautiful balance that's available to us between being soft and creative, but yet firm and protective. And as we opened up this line, I was saying it could be soulmate, right? This could be a soulmate connection that's gonna be entering your life, meeting someone that matches your frequency. And soulmates don't have to be romantic, right? Soulmates could just be maybe a kindred spirit, a friend, maybe a mentor. This is the line. This could be a mentor of some sort. It could represent marriage. I mean, this is like a sacred union here. This is not like a superficial or kind of casual connection at all. And if not, if it's not a relationship, this is more about one's own legacy, about striking that balance within yourself and thinking about your own, like creating something that you can leave behind, building something that will like endure the, time that you can leave, and behind to contribute, to the next generation or something. And that's beautiful as well. So now we're on the final card, King of Cups. Anything else I want to mention about the artwork? Well, we've talked about this card before. This card has come up a lot in previous readings, and I like the take of this Rebel card because he's freeing himself. So this is about liberation and freedom. And if you see these people, these archetypes, they're all very, they look like they're very rooted within themselves. Even the King of Cups, right? We have these figures that have some level of leadership and authority. They're wielding some sort of power, some sort of, that kind of energy. So anyway, back to the King of Cups. And then we have the Knight of Wands. And this is intensity, the Knight of Wands. So the King of Cups is about emotional balance, having developing or cultivating your emotional intelligence. This could be a person that in your life or that's going to come into your life that possesses these qualities, very, very emotionally mature, that has a lot of compassion, a very compassionate person, very diplomatic, very fair, very just person. Or maybe these are qualities that you're developing, because this is more on the near future end of the reading. So it's about mastering the realm of emotions, creativity, the unconscious. So maybe working again, making the unconscious conscious and working with that kind of energy in your life, that kind of healing work. And dealing with obstacles and challenges, because they're always gonna, that's a part of life. And so knowing how to deal with them from an emotional, mature perspective. And lastly, it could be meeting someone, a mentor, some sort of coach, some sort of guide, spiritual guide. But definitely this archetype possesses this kind of wise, older man, woman, person vibe, kind of father figure energy. So this could pertain to maybe also your own father, right? Maybe it's pointing to your relationship with your father and that dynamic. There's something for you to look at, to review, to reflect on, or to shift. Maybe to something in that relationship has to change. And if not, maybe, yeah, again, it could be a mentor who enters your life, which then leads to this intensity card. Which is the Knight of Wands. So I wanted to read one of the lines from the book. It says, intensity belongs to the vertical world of the present moment. Now is the only moment that there is. So firstly, yeah, let's focus on that. This is saying there is no other time but now. So be here now. That is what matters. Just, like being in the past. Remember we were saying you're putting your intention, you're kind of like, it's like energy leakage. You're draining, you're depleting your energy. You say that you can reflect back and learn from previous experiences, lessons, mistakes. But then it's like, then there comes a time where it's time to move on, right? You can't keep clinging to that. And this person, if you see the image, it's like they're almost like taking the form of an arrow, and they're very laser focused. They're almost turning into like some sort of like a shooting star. And then we got the star card. Very distinct energy though. Maybe it's that, right? When you rest, when you take time to recharge and to reconnect with yourself, and then it's like, psh. So it's about this vertical reality, right? This vertical reality right now. We are the bridge connecting the divine and bringing it down to this earth, But it's also a gift to have, to be here now, to have this opportunity. So I think that's some beautiful guidance about like, be here now, right? Don't project into the future. Don't stay attached to the past. But again, just like we were talking about the past, you can plan, you can have your dreams and your goals and your visions and plan out certain things, right? It's not about like not doing that, but it's also not being attached to any outcome or like expectation or like get obsessive about it, because then now you're living in the future. You're projecting all your energy into a moment that hasn't even happened yet. And how the future is created is now in the present moment. About it's now, whatever you do now, whatever you decide now, whatever you're working on now, right? That's what needs your attention. And then that evolves and grows into this future and ripens. You become this ripe, emotionally mature, sovereign person, wielding their energy for good, to create, create what you want and create with others, without creating this hierarchy, but more equal, this equal opportunity situation, right? Reciprocity, equality, freedom, and justice for all. So anyway, back to, I kind of derailed there. Something I also was thinking about, again, just staying open-minded. Maybe it's not about a mentor. How about if this, maybe it's not about also being hyperly dependent on this external source of knowledge and wisdom in the form of a mentor, or in the form of like whatever you're seeking is out there, and they have the answers and they know better, or whatever that is. Some of that is needed and is good, right? But then maybe it's also about this Knight of Wands is like this passionate energy. So maybe it's about tapping into that and being our own guide, right? Guiding force. So it's about passionate energy. It's about taking inspired action. Can even mean literally like adventure, like, so maybe taking a trip, traveling, which is inspiring, right? It could definitely ignite ideas, new ideas, or some level of motivation to tap, to do this, to do more of this, right? To liberate yourself, to create something new, to create this life that you envision for yourself that's full of abundance and beauty and unity and community and, all that stuff. So that's what I was thinking as well. I like to see it from different vantage points. And then Knight of Wands, if we think about the image in tarot, it's the knight charging ahead, full speed ahead, right? It's charging ahead, heart first, in pursuit of something. So as we were saying, like a new idea, a project, maybe a new relationship. Here we go. And again, maybe the relationship is more this really powerful relationship with this mentor and this guide that comes into your life. That could lead you to some amazing places or opportunities. Open doors for you or something like that, or open your third eye. Get some serious, downloads or something. So it's about clarity of vision, knowing exactly what you want to create, staying focused on that. What did I write here? And then the last thing I'll say is, so yeah, right? So we've been working on letting go, releasing, making room, making space as we start this new cycle, right? We ended that old cycle. And now we're getting ready to take inspired action. I think with the summer solstice coming through now later in the month, that's going to really be that threshold of this inspired action, I think. But then also, and I'm going to end with that, be careful with any impulsivity, like, making any impulsive choices or actions, like act first, think later kind of situation. Just be mindful of that. Also, like maybe impatience, wanting things to happen faster than they're meant to, or like demanding too much. Perfection, and like maybe that kind of energy will get you into this, right? Into that kind of old energy that we're trying to move away from, right? This internal pressure that we feel, right? And it's like we have to detach from that. Yes, act on our passions, act on these ideas and these, our vision, this clarity of vision. But then again, from this place, look at these, look at them from this place. These are powerful, powerful archetypes here. A beautiful balance of what real empowerment is, without having to oppress anybody else or to try to crush anyone else or take away something from anyone else just to, to be superior or better or like gain something. That comes from also scarcity mentality, like this, like there's not enough to go around or something kind of energy too. And here, you don't have that. You don't have that energy. I'm still sick. Can you believe it? I'm working through something. I think it's energetic for me too. Being back home, kind of coming full circle. Maybe I'm working through something to do with my voice. Maybe my recalibration is me working through that. But that's for me to figure out. Anyway, folks, I hope you were able to hang with me in this new kind of makeshift situation. Sending you lots of love. Well, I do want to end. I want to give you a little bit of a astrological summary of what the new moon in Gemini actually means. Not only looking at it through the cards. So I'll end with that, and then I'll say goodbye. Okay, so Gemini. Let's talk a little bit about the sign of Gemini. Let's learn a little bit, right? So Gemini represents duality, as I was saying, which, again, it's interesting I mean, I feel like this is duality too. And this is definitely duality. The Emperor and the Empress. But it also represents communication. So again, some sort of connection, communicating. Adaptability, the intellect. Okay. It's the third sign of the zodiac and embodies the spirit of curiosity, endless learning, social connection. So again, connection, right? There's something about connecting with someone, some other person, other entity, other groups or something. It represents, the symbol is the twins. And they're dual nature. So you have light and dark again. Oh my God, like the yin and yang. And we got that integration card for the tarot and nature reading, which was depicting that. You know, light, dark, sun, moon, eagle, swan, logic, emotion, consciousness, and unconscious mind. So this is what makes the Gemini so highly adaptable, because it's most multifaceted. It could switch between the two. There's this equal, you know, balance of like, you know, again, not getting stuck in one or the other extreme. And being able to see situations from multiple perspectives. The ruling planet is Mercury. So that's what the planet that rules communication and networking and quick thinkers and like it has to do with sharing ideas, like the internet, quick sharing, right? The social media. So it has to do with technology. It's connected to the element of air, so it's an air sign, represents the realm of the mind. I was gonna see if we have any other. Yeah, we have these two sword cards, so we have some of that air energy in the reading. So it's about being intellectually driven, socially dynamic, exchanging information. It's a mutable sign, meaning that it falls at the end of a season. So, right, it's falling at the end of spring. So it gives Geminis this love for change. And what card did we get at the end of the reading, the nature reading? We got change. So change is definitely, it's coming. There's something, you know, and it's funny, it's been really windy here, and I'm like, there's like the winds of change. I could feel it pulling at us. Anyway, so that's a little bit about the Gemini sign. But so what is this new moon in Gemini all about, right? So new moons are about setting intentions, setting the little seeds. So it's about, this is going to be a very mentally active lunation. It's going to be full of ideas and questions and conversations and reflecting. Maybe from that, new directions will spark, right? We'll be redirected into something else. There's going to be doors opening up. Again, connections being made. But it does not always, we don't always know, you know, what's going on. Like we don't know which door to walk through. There's going to be options, I feel, too. Right? Maybe that's what this comparison is about. It's like having too many options, multiple options. Maybe since it's Gemini, maybe it's like having two options, right? This or that. Should I go this way? Should I go that way? Should I travel or should I just stay, you know, should I stay in this job or should I look for a new job? Or maybe you're going to be presented with two opportunities, or maybe two potential relationships or connections, who knows? So the temptation is to scatter your energy across too many options. So don't do that. I feel like that connects to this intensity energy. Connect more to this, right? Channel it, you know, center yourself. Stay focused, stay intentional. The deeper invitation is to choose the one idea or one or two ideas that still feel alive after the noise settles. So this is like, let the noise settle. Take some time, right, to settle into yourself, to really know what it is that you want. right? To get to this clarity of vision. So no overthinking. Try to, like, during this new moon, try not to overthink. Not every thought deserves action. Oh my God, that came up. I was writing this today. Not every thought deserves action. I'm going to leave it there. Not every thought deserves action. Ponder on that. Reflect on that. Maybe journal. Think about your life and where you are now and how that relates to you. All right, folks. Bye.